It's the Brian and Kindra Show with Brian Cook and Kindra Cox of Keller Williams Realty Elite.
I am Kindra Cox.
I'm Brian Cook.
Between the two of us, we have over 30 years of experience.
Sharing real estate tips and advice. Right here on Classic Hits 1073.
Hey, it's the Brian and Kindra Show. Welcome back.
Hey, it's good for you to be back, isn't it, boss?
It's good to be back in. I know there's no mountains around here, but you can see a long ways.
We've had the most amazing sunrises this week.
Really?
It's so weird that I know that and you don't, isn't it?
It is.
That's funny.
I'm still adjusting.
It just occurred to me.
My time.
Yes, we had like the most beautiful sunrise. Was that yesterday morning? I don't think I saw it this morning. I think it was yesterday morning. Absolutely gorgeous. And I'm sure that it's pretty in Alaska.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't really even go there. I love where we are, but it's wonderful to visit other places.
Yep.
Right?
Yes. But Woodward is...
Okay, so this is how the radio works. I talk, you talk, I talk, you talk, I talk, you talk. You don't leave dead space.
Well, then don't leave dead space. Usually you don't let me talk. It's weird.
I was trying to remember how to do my part over here. But thanks for coming back because so week one of your fantastic vacation, we had Mike with On Point Land Survey.
Yep.
And Mike's daughter Caitlin, who I'm sure runs the office, tells me later that Mike forgot. Like when I text him, evidently he was at Walmart. And so he was a little bit late. Branson and I were a lot panicked. I all caps texted Mike. I looked up his full name on the assessor website because, it's public record.
Yes.
And was like, full name, get in here. What are you doing? Thank God he showed up. I was scared. But last week, Hugh Lively. Yeah. He's just ornery. So I text him and say, okay, I'm headed to the station. And he goes, why? Isn't that next week?
Oh, man.
I'm fine. I was not fine. But he was just being funny. He beat me here. So that's good, right?
Yep. Do I talk now? Is it my turn?
I don't want to have to retrain you every time you go on vacation.
Well, I had a good trip. I am ready to be back to work because I love selling houses.
You are. So you came back on Friday, and I actually asked you to pop into the office because I needed some help with some things. Yep. I mean, I handled some things on my own.
I feel like I was almost caught up by 5 o'clock on Friday. You just took care of everything.
Yeah, I wish. And then Saturday, I think I set you up for some. I think I did some showings. Was that Saturday I showed houses? Maybe that was Monday.
That was Monday. We crossed each other. I went to Fort Supply, and then you went to Fort Supply.
Yeah. Gosh darn it! I wish I would have communicated better. And then you could have just done all the work. But
I could have done it.
That's fine. Yeah. So anyway, so glad to have you back. I always appreciate having a little help in the office. Yeah. Just kidding.
You guys didn't even miss me, did you?
Well, I didn't have anybody to boss around. All right. So anyway, okay. I am super excited. Do you know what next week is? Can we talk about next week, or do we have to talk about tomorrow first? I'm excited about tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow.
Real estate.
So tomorrow is Woodward's Food Truck
War.
Okay, I'm going to say it wrong. Like, I cannot even say it right.
Food Truck Wars.
Yes. So this is actually sponsored by
Stevenson Insurance Company.
Yes.
Center.
And then Woodward Main Street as well. It is so fun. I stinking love it. There's an art walk and everything. You're looking at the map. There's like all these different food trucks, and there's going to be some live music. I think that's what I heard this morning. So Friday, June 4th from 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Can I leave work early tomorrow?
Yeah, they have music at Centennial Park and the city offices and the Woodward Arts Theater.
That is so... Oh, and over there. At the Main Street office. Stop laughing, Branson. I love live music. It is my favorite. Like,
it's going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome. Can we leave work at 4?
8 pop-up shops.
Can we leave work at 4?
Friday? I think you better be 3:30 so you don't have to get in line.
Yes! Okay, so everybody heard it. I'm going to leave work early tomorrow and go walk around Main Street looking for somebody that I can eat off their plate. A porta potty? Is that what you're excited about? There's going to be a porta potty at the city parking lot, just in case you want to.
Wow, it's in the food pop there.
Yeah. Okay, so that's tomorrow. Saturday, there's lots going on with the Classical Parade and that, and the football game, I guess, would be Saturday night. But then next week is my favorite.
The hottest part of June.
It's
my sister's birthday.
Rodeo week.
Rodeo week.
I know. Why do I love it so much? And I'm already like going through my phone. Who's going to go with me to the rodeo? My friends are all like, Kindra, we love you, but we're not rodeoing.
So Kindra needs 5 friends. It's 5 nights.
I just need some friends. That's all I need. One of them is like, I like the rodeo about as much as I like peeling wallpaper. I'm like, what is wrong with you people?
Because you like to peel wallpaper.
Hey, we need a project.
Yes, no.
I wish somebody put some wallpaper at the office. I could take it down. Okay, so anyway, I'm super excited about that. That's always my favorite.
It's a big attraction. It drives in people from all over the country.
I'm telling you.
One of the biggest.
I love it. Okay, so today is going to be a fun day. Okay. We are going to talk about what to expect right before closing. So, whenever you came into the office and you said, tonight on the radio we're going to talk about, that I always telling us that we don't make these decisions until last minute.
Because we have so much information. And we sift through it, like, which one do we want to settle on tonight?
So you walk in and you go, we should do what to expect. And I have to admit that I went back 22 years in my brain and, like, there's a book titled What to Expect When You're Expecting, and I'm like, why? I threw that out the window. Branson, you're shaking your head. Why do you know about that?
Do you have a book
Branson?
called What to Expect When You're Expecting?
No.
I've heard of the book.
Okay. Anyway, so we're going to do What to Expect When You're Closing. And actually, there's a lot of similarities because there are always going to be curveballs.
And
just like there's always going to be labor pains, that's for sure. All right, so, but I'm excited because this is good for buyers. This is good for sellers. And hopefully we can debunk a couple of myths and hopefully just kind of help to clear things up just a little bit. I almost skipped something really important. Do you know what I almost skipped? Golly, my phone keeps ringing. I'm super sorry, y'all. I did answer it.
Okay, I don't know what we forgot.
Sorry, guys.
Commercial break?
No.
Oh.
The most important part.
Last week, it was like 4 weeks ago, 69, 68, 63, 58. New listings this week, 0 in the last 7 days.
Okay, I kind of want to talk about our market a little bit.
Do you mean to finish this?
I don't really know what order we should do it in. I just don't want to do it.
So pending, there's 31 pending. The last is went 23, 22, 26, 31. So no new listings and a bunch went pending. 5 went pending. So there's 45 pending in Northwest Oklahoma, 7 new pending in Woodward. Number of closings in Woodward, there were 7 this week, which is pretty standard. We had 6 or 7 a week. A couple of weeks ago, we only had 1 and 2, which was weird. And then number of closings in Woodward, 6 in the last 7 days. So our months of inventory is down to 3.35. It has not been that low in the last over a year.
Which is amazing. I mean, that's a really healthy market.
12 months ago, we had 95 listings in Woodward.
And now we're at 58.
58.
That is absolutely insane. And so you said 12 months ago we were at 7.7 months on the market too,
yep.
right?
Yep.
Or months of inventory, I guess is the proper way to say that. Okay, but here's what I want to talk about because we were talking in the car. We went to look at a house earlier. Because we're working on listings. We know that people want to see different homes and new houses. But it's kind of weird. But we're not seeing, usually, you say this better than I do, but usually whenever housing inventory goes down, there are more buyers. Or there are few buyers and lots of houses for sale.
Mm-hmm.
We're like neck and neck, and it's getting kind of creepy.
Yeah, like the number of houses are dropping and the number of listings. Or let's sell your house.
Let's do both. Like, we want some buyers, we want some sellers, but I want to see this quit being so weird.
Yeah, we've got some puzzle pieces out there. We just don't have the missing pieces. So we've got people looking, and we've got people selling. They're just not matching. And I think if we doubled the amount of inventory, of listings, you would see a bunch more buyers come out. Just people are having a hard time finding what fits what they are actually looking for.
All right, so if you want to buy or sell a home, you want to call us, and my number is 580-216-0090, and I will not ignore you like I ignored that other call.
Yeah.
I mean, that was different.
That was a telemarketer. I did see it. It's fine.
Technically, I answered it. I just hung right back up.
And then.
Okay, your number is
580-334-2303.
All right, now let's take a quick break, and we will come right back.
Yep. Comfort Zone is a multi-generational company serving Northwest Oklahoma in commercial and residential needs. plumbing, air conditioning, heaters, refrigeration, sewer and drain cleaning, backhoe trenching, and crane service. And they are your geothermal specialists. Contact them at 580-254-5864 or stop by 116 East Main Street.
It's the 5 hours you spend in the kitchen mastering your famous recipe or spending quality time with your family. Other insurance companies may just see it as a house. It's not just a house, it's your home. Hi, I'm State Farm Agent Kevin Kanzler, and I see your home as the time and memories you put into them. I understand what your things really mean to you, and I'm here to help give them the protection they deserve. My office is located on the corner of 13th and Oklahoma and Woodward, or call me at 580-256-2216 for your home insurance today.
On Point Land Survey can take care of all your residential, commercial, and industrial survey needs. This family-owned and operated business proudly serves Northwest Oklahoma and Southwest Kansas. These lifelong Northwest Oklahoma residents with over 19 years of experience are ready to serve you with the latest equipment and capable trucks to get your job done. Call On Point Land Survey today at 580-256-6757 or at 1918 Main Street in Woodward, Oklahoma, or visit their website at onpointlandsurveyok.com. Professional, trusted, local.
This is Todd McHugh,
Jackie Jones,
and Flor Castro
with Woodward County Abstract. Thank you to all of Northwest Oklahoma for letting Woodward County Abstract handle all of your real estate closing and title needs.
We provide real estate closings and title insurance for all of Northwest Oklahoma.
Pasen a verme para todas sus dudas y preguntas sobre bienes raíces. Con gusto les explico el proceso y estoy disponible a cada paso de la transacción para asistir con lo que usted necesite para cerrar su contrato.
We appreciate your business.
Hi, I'm Connie Rowland in the Mortgage Department at Bank 7. Bank 7 is a full-service bank with over 40 years of combined experience. Melinda Russo and I are a dynamic duo team committed to making your loan process smooth. With a variety of loan products, we would love to sit down with you and discuss your loan options in person, or we offer online and over-the-phone application processing. The Woodward branch is located at 34th in Oklahoma. Find us online at mortgage.bank7.com, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Bank 7 is an equal housing lender in MLS 677297. Phone 580-254-0100, where our best investment is you.
Okay, I think we're back.
We are. We're discovering
My bad.
migrations.
I was trying to figure out how come some of the flavored waters or whatever, the sparkling waters, taste different than other sparkling waters. Like, it says 0 sugar, but it doesn't taste 0 sugar. I want to know why.
It's got all that false sugar in there.
Healthy stuff?
I doubt it. Healthier than... Okay.
Okay, so
Yes.
better than pop. All right, so we're going to talk about what to expect right before closing. We're going to talk about buyers first.
Yep.
Because I think that buyers have a lot more. I feel like my chair is like super short. Did you do that on purpose? Like Kendra's in the kindergarten chair? That's fine. That's probably appropriate, actually. Thank you. No, you're a kindergartner, too. All right, so, man, I'm sorry. I guess I'm way off. I've got my coffee here to help me focus. All right, so buyers, I feel like they have a lot more on their plate right before closing. Let me say that differently, because that is absolutely not true. Yeah.
They're mostly, especially a first-time home buyer, hadn't been through the process yet. Mm-hmm. So it's more of the inexperience of walking into a closing in the closing process. Because if you own a house already, then you've already been through it once.
I see what you're saying. I think also, like, there's so many variables that affect the buyer before closing. Seller has some big ones too, and we're going to talk about those in a minute. We are not leaving out sellers. They are after, they're after a bit. Mm-hmm. But so first thing with the buyer, we don't really know for sure when we're closing. I mean, we've got a date on the contract, and we visited with a customer a little bit ago who was kind of razzing me a little bit that I'm not going to get his transactions closed on time. I am trying so hard, you guys. Yeah, but here's the deal. When we have a lender, we're not always, and it's not the lender's fault. It's not Bank 7's fault. But when there's a loan, it's a different process, and there are more things that need to happen. There are more dominoes that have to fall to get us to the closing. So one of the common questions that I have from day one, in fact, I had one today, I hope I screenshotted it and sent it to you, was, hey, are we for sure closing on June 22nd? Today is June 3rd, I think. I have absolutely no idea. And that sounds terrible because I want to close June 22nd, and I'm going to push to close June 22nd, and chances are we're going to close June 22nd. But I really don't know until 3 days before when the lender says, hey, we're closing January 22nd. Because the lender has to finish all of their parts before they can 100% say, yes, we have clear to close, let's do it.
Yep.
So I think that's one of the things that makes it challenging for a buyer, because they're like, hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait. Sellers are hurry up and waiting too. They're more like, when do I have to be out? When do I have to be out? When do I have to be out? So
on the seller side, it's like everything's just on pause. Like,
oh,
hey,
man.
what's going on?
Like I said, I know it's tough on them too. So, all right. So 3 days before closing, a buyer, at least 3 days before closing, a buyer has to sign what's called their closing disclosure. So do you want to talk about closing disclosure, or you want me to? I mean, it's boring, so go ahead.
Yes. Okay. Closing disclosures. Basically, it's about numbers. I love them. So it gives you the numbers of the transaction. You've already seen them when you did your first loan application, and they've seen the original contract. The lender sends you out a letter of the original estimate of costs, and they have to be close. They're not going to know what your insurance is going to cost, and they're not going to know. There's a few fees in there that are estimates, but everything else is pretty solid when they first write the contract in the first loan process. So you're basically getting a review of that now with everything set in pretty much stone 3 days prior to closing. And that's your chance to review those, make sure there's nothing surprising. There shouldn't be any hidden fees because they can't pop those hidden fees on you anymore. There's so many regulations in the lending side. So that's what your closing disclosures are.
All right, so closing disclosures, and that's where the buyer gets their absolute final amount. I have no idea what I just tried to say. That's when they know how much their check needs to be to bring to closing. And so 3 days before closing, and a lot of times the buyer sees this before you and I do.
Right.
In fact, sometimes the buyer will know their amount for 2 days before I get to see it.
Yeah.
Because while they're getting their closing disclosure, then the lender and the closing company, so Bank 7, Woodward County Abstract, are working together to come up with a settlement statement and make sure that they balance, make sure that they agree, make sure that the numbers are the same. And so a lot of times I'll get an email that says, hey, I'm running late on the settlement statement. We don't quite balance yet. Or I'm sure your buyer is anxious to know for sure. And really, honestly, the buyer already knows. We're the only ones that don't. Or sometimes I'll text and I'll say, hey, I need the seller settlement statement. And Woodward County will say, I'm not ready to release it yet. We're still trying to balance with the lender. So those things kind of feel like those are terrifying last minute. Things are going to be fine most often. Things are working out, but it does kind of get us down to the wire a little bit. So I have no idea what I was saying. Like,
Which time?
I know, it's awesome. You're not listening to me either.
So
3 days before closing, you
Yep.
get closing disclosure. Within 1 day, we usually have a settlement statement that we can say, hey, we can sit down and look at this together with you if you have any questions.
Right.
Bank 7 is awesome to do that. Woodward County does that, of course, at closing.
Yep.
But sometimes our buyers will have a question that they're just not comfortable asking, and I get those texts, hey, I don't get it. What is this? Sometimes I'm like, dude, me neither. Let me get somebody else.
Some of these weird fees.
But I don't mind calling and saying, hey, what in the world is going on here? Whereas a buyer is like, I feel stupid because I don't ever see this. I see it all the time. I don't mind asking.
Yep.
So
then after you get the numbers, then we're working on getting scheduling your utilities to be transferred. So usually those are pretty quick because everything's now electronic. So I mean, they can just flip a switch and everything happens. But like Northwest Electric, you'll have to go in and fill out a form. Woodward County Abstract. City of Woodward. You got to bring paperwork in.
Yes.
So there's a few places, Rural Water Department, you got to go meet with them. So a few of the utility companies still have to go in and fill out applications, deposits, stuff like that. But
let's talk about City of Woodward real quick.
Okay.
Because sometimes I need a little prompting. I'm not going to pretend like I don't. But City of Woodward, so their office hours are not the same as our office hours. And a lot of times we might be down to the wire at closing, and the buyer doesn't have a chance to run down to the city offices to do the rest of their... Amanda just said, did you have a tea today? I did, and I'm still this spacey. It's really, really bad. Okay, so I'm trying so hard to focus. Like, this is your fault. Like, you came back, I lost my focus. City of Woodward.
I can go back.
They need to have... I didn't mean it like that. City of Woodward needs to have a copy of the deed.
Right.
Not the closing statement, not any of the money part, just the deed that says that this property transferred from party A to party B. Mm-hmm. That's not finished until after the seller signs at closing. So if we close at 1 o'clock on Friday, City of Woodward is already closed. So if you will prompt me, I can send an email to the City of Woodward and say, hey, for sure, Brian Cook is going to close on this house on Friday at 1:30 p.m. please don't turn off the water on him. So that way you can go ahead and get moved in. And then on Tuesday or Monday, I'm sorry, I don't know why I just assume everybody takes off every Monday. Is that just me? Just kidding. It should be illegal to take off Mondays. Next business day. Man, next business day. Then you can run in with your deed, and then they can go ahead and finish the transfer into your name. Yep. So we're closing one tomorrow, and the buyer is going to be out of town. So I sent the paperwork in today to the city of Woodward and said, hey, this buyer is going to be gone. Tomorrow is when the closing is actually taking place. They were able to sign a day early. As soon as I have the signed deed from this real official closing, I'll send this to you. And that buyer had gone into City of Woodward, did everything but the deed, and I'll be able to help finish up with that. I am more than happy to help with that. If I can take off a load from a buyer, I want to do that. So that's how that works with City of Woodward. Okay, what's next?
Final walkthrough. So the final walkthrough is a buyer's deal. And so we try to schedule that near the end of the seller moving all the way out. So sometimes that's kind of a mess because they're still loading stuff in the U-Haul the night before closing, or the moving company's getting ready to ship everything out because they still want to sleep in their house one more night or whatever. So we try to schedule that because moving is messy. You never realize how dirty you are until you start moving. And it's just like it grows. It's like, where's all this dirt?
Underneath the refrigerator.
Oh, God.
Man, I guess I should be moving my fridge out and sweeping since
and it's one of those deals I don't like. Yeah, it's one of those deals we don't want the buyer to get a negative feeling moving into a house that's dirty. So it's one of them deals. It's a timing issue. We try to coordinate with the seller, make sure everything's, hey, you got it kind of cleaned up. Are you ready for us? Are you moved out? And then hopefully, the evening before, the day before, they've got all moved out, house is cleaned up, and then we do the final walkthrough. And during that final walkthrough, there's a whole bunch of stuff you're going to check. So just a quick...
We're going to talk about that next week.
We're going to talk about that next week. But basically, you're just doing a check to make sure everything's still in the same condition it was when you bought it. No hidden... to the paint story. We'll talk about that next week. Okay. And then you go get your cashier's check. You need a cashier's check. So why a cashier's check?
Oh, are you asking me? Is it my turn? I get to tell you something? Okay, so here's the deal. Your funds have to be certified. So that means that Woodward County Abstract needs to know 100% that those funds are truly yours, they're truly available, and there are not going to be any hang-ups in them being able to fund. So a cashier's check from your bank, a certified check.
Or a wire.
Or you can have your funds wired. So if you're going to wire your funds, you really need to do that the day before. And I would say the earlier the better the day before, because sometimes things happen. Yep. We had a closing delayed for, it was supposed to close on a Friday. We thought surely Monday that the funds would show up. It was 3 or 4 days before those funds finally showed up on the wire. I can't remember what the deal was.
They put an old tracking number for that bank. The bank switched to holding accounts. It was
absolutely nuts. So in order to avoid any kind of delays, and just the wiring itself takes some process.
Yep.
So we really encourage you to do that the morning before the closing.
Right.
But that way the funds are official, they're there, and the closing company is able to disperse funds after everybody has signed.
Right. Don't bring cash.
Don't bring cash. I mean, it's weird because the contract says cash, but it doesn't mean it.
Yeah.
It really doesn't mean it.
It just makes it complicated because then they got to document. There's just some things that make it complicated.
Yep. So cashier's check or wire the funds. So, what was next?
The sold picture.
No, I wanted to talk about... Oh, okay. Yes. So this is still a day before closing. I want a sold picture. It is so much fun. I know it's cheesy. Okay, so here's the deal. When I first started real estate, back whenever dinosaurs roamed the earth and stuff, I was so excited about the sold pictures, but I noticed nobody did them. And so I never did. I remember the first one, I was still in Laverne actually. And I remember that young man, I don't know how I convinced him to do it. And then I didn't do one for years. And then I got started doing them. And then I took a little break from real estate. And then everybody started doing them. And it's my favorite game. Sometimes I run across those accidentally. I'll find them filed away somewhere. And I'll be like, oh. So we closed one a couple of years ago with these sweet buyers. And I had just run across their previous sold. And it was so much fun to take their new sold. It's really fun, and it's a special memory. So we want to take a sold picture. Not everybody will let us, and really, honestly, I want to blast it all over social media too because it's fun.
Yep.
And it makes me happy, and then you can share it, and all your friends can see it too. But it's just such a celebration. Buying a house is work. It is exciting and it is fun, but it is stressful, And so it's a fun way to celebrate with our silly little sold sign. So I love those. Please let us do that. Please make Brian remember.
Yes.
He does all the final walkthroughs, and then I know
do.
get the
And I'm
pictures.
focused on getting it, like make sure everything's all done at the house and no surprises, and I forget about the picture.
Yeah, and I'm not really great about reminding you, but I'm going to work on it, nag you a little better. Okay, so at closing with a buyer, so buyers and sellers actually both need 2 forms of ID. And that sounds crazy, but we mean like a photo ID, like your driver's license, and then really the secondary one, like I've used my insurance card before. I just had a blank on anything else. My voter registration card, those kinds of things. It doesn't have to be 2 photo IDs.
Library card.
Library card. Do you have one?
No.
Mine's on my phone. I don't know where the hard copy would be. Okay, so here we go. 2 forms of ID, and get ready to sign your life away.
You're going to be
I almost said sign your wife away. Do not sell your wife. I think that's illegal. All right, so buyers, your packets can be anywhere from like 5 pages to
5
do like half a
150.
ream of paper, and I am not exaggerating.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So be prepared to sign, and you're going to sign an initial just almost every single page.
Yep, it's insane.
And you're going to use your whole name.
Yep.
So Branson, what's your real name? Dwayne? Branson Dwayne Brewer. Did I guess it? He's like, no. Okay, so Branson Dwayne Brewer is going to sign every single page. You can even do it. BDB. Okay, it's awesome. Man, that was quick, wasn't it? You're welcome, Branson Dwayne. Okay, so lots and lots of signing.
Yes.
Lots of signing. Your hand will get tired. After you sign, then the seller signs. So they sign their deed. Sometimes with a loan, there's different documents that the seller has to sign for the buyer. Brian has given me the eye. Oh my gosh, we're out of time.
Yes.
No. Okay, well, this is the important part.
Okay.
We cannot give you keys until it's funded. So
Correct.
your lender has to approve our documents and say, yes, release the money before we can give out keys.
Yes.
So we got to get her done. Okay, we have to take a really fast break.
Homeowners and business owners. Do you want to know how to extend the life of your home or commercial building? Call APC LLC in Woodward. APC specializes in installing high-quality 5-inch and 6-inch seamless guttering and custom commercial guttering. Whether it's a small system or a large system, APC can help. Call APC LLC at 580-571-2384. That number again is 580-571-2384 for all your seamless gutter needs.
Our home is usually our largest investment, and we insure it against damage. One unseen destructive force not covered by most insurance policies is termites, which can infest a house for years before being detected. Termites cost U.S. homeowners an estimated $5 billion annually in treatment and repairs. Using the Centricon termite bait system, JCP Services can protect your home from the threat of a termite infestation. Call 580-334-5380. Again, 580-334-5380.
Stop in to Modern Appliance on Main Street today to see powerful Maytag brand kitchen appliances available in a finish inspired by cast iron. Cast iron black is a hard-working, matte finish that is as tough as it is timeless, so you can trust it to help resist scratches while helping hide fingerprints and minor dents and stand up to the everyday. Add an iconic look to your home with cast iron black kitchen appliances from Maytag brand. See it at Modern Appliance, 2102 Main, or online at modernappliancewoodward.com.
For 150 years, Sherwin-Williams has been an industry leader in the development of technologically advanced paint and coatings. As the nation's largest specialty retailer of paint and painting supplies, Sherwin-Williams is dedicated to supporting both your do-it-yourselfers and painting professionals with exceptional products, resources to make confident color selections, and expert personalized service that's focused on your unique project needs. Sherwin-Williams is your neighborhood paint store. Stop by and see them, 2101 Oklahoma Avenue, or call them 580-256-5861. But
We're
Carrick's
back.
listening.
Thanks
New York.
thanks for listening, Carrick from
Yep.
New York. Okay, so real quick, I we didn't get to sellers. Like I talked too much. We didn't get to sellers. Sellers, you have to be out before you go to closing. Oh my gosh, I know it's stressful. Bring your U-Haul. It's fine. Park it at the library.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody I said so. Okay, real quick recap. Buyers, we cannot give you keys until your lender says that we have authorization to fund.
Yep. Yep.
What else? What else did you want to hit?
That's the main thing. That's the most stressful part. Is you're like, hey, I just signed everything. Why can't I have my keys? I gave them all my money. Why can't I have the keys? But there's some hoops that the closing company has to jump through and the lender has to jump through to make sure everything's all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed and done like that. So, but yeah, our sellers, we know it's stressful for them too, because now they're probably moving into another house and they probably have another closing, And so they're a buyer and seller all in one kapow. So making sure the repairs are done and all the packing's done and out is just so stressful and complicated. We know it. We hate it. In fact, I just did it in February, and I hope I don't have to do it again for a very long time.
Hey, great news! Your mom's here now.
Oh, yay! There she is. Yeah.
All right. So, for reals, we know that the closing part is stressful, and we want to do everything we can to help to decrease that. But it is what it is. It is. All right. We'll be back next week, and we're going to talk about final walkthroughs.
Yep.
Your new favorite, Classic Hits 107.3 KLSI Moreland Woodward. Tell a friend.